Good morning, everyone. I'm Derek Armstead, and welcome to a conversation with the mayor. Today's guest will be Aimee Puluso. Aimee Puluso is our health officer with Linden's Board of Health. Our first question for Aimee is, Aimee, how long have you been with us now?
I started in August of 2021.
August 21. And how do you feel about your job and your responsibilities here?
I think it was an excellent move for me. I'm really enjoying my position here with the city. There's, as every municipality has, there's a lot of challenges, but I think that we're rising to those challenges and we're improving things and we're working forward towards improving the health of the population of the city of Linden.
Now, you came from another city. What city was that?
That was the township of Montville.
Montville. And Montville, in comparable in size-wise, what's the population there?
It's about half of what we have here in Linden. Montville's about 22,000 residents, and I think here in Linden at last count it was around 44,000.
Yeah, we're close to 44,000 now, yes. Now, and you're dealing in Montville. Was Montville a very diverse community, or was it, was there any poverty, or was there any, I guess, a greater social need, or comparably, how would you feel in comparison to Linden?
Again, Montville had its own challenges, and there was certainly some diversity, and there were certainly different economic levels and different challenges in those economic levels. I think it was a bit more suburban rather than urban, and so I dealt with things there that I don't deal with here, like septic systems and wells and things of that nature. But it's just every municipality has their challenges, and it's just a different flavor.
As the health officer, explain I guess, the scope of your responsibilities.
Sure. We have a wide range of responsibilities at the Board of Health, and it always surprises people, all of the different things that we do. We're mostly known as a health department as the people who inspect the restaurants, or the people who are telling you to get your shots in the fall for flu and COVID. But we do a lot more than that. And in our particular health department and Board of Health, we have our housing inspectors, which is a little unusual. Usually that's under the construction department. So we do CO inspections for the municipality. Whenever a private residence changes hands, we have to do a certificate of occupancy or a CO inspection. We also do the restaurant inspections, and in addition to that, we license cosmetology facilities, tanning facilities, body art facilities like tattoo and piercing, public recreational bathing facilities, not residential backyard pools, but the spray park over at Wheeler Park, and if there's a pool at a gym or at a hotel, we'll inspect that prior to them opening for the season to make sure that it's safe for people to go into the water. In addition to that, we respond to environmental complaints. Certainly air quality is something that everybody has on their mind lately. That's something we get involved in. Water quality, pollution of any kind, and then public health nuisance complaints, poison ivy, we have noise complaints, so a variety of different issues that can affect public health. And then in addition to that, there's animal control issues. So we do our rabies clinics every year. We have an animal control service that we have and a shelter that we contract out for. And we are also involved in communicable disease investigations, and we hold clinics and screenings here. We have our child health clinic, we have a blood pressure screening clinic, we do flu clinics in the fall, COVID vaccination clinics, a wide range of services. So we do quite a bit. We wear a lot of hats at the health department.
Now, you came in what I would consider probably one of the most difficult times that you could be assuming a new position, especially in your field in the city of Linden, and that was right smack dead in the middle of the pandemic. And I think you pretty much hit the ground running. And I want to know, what do you attribute that you're being able to handle the pandemic issues so well in the city of Linden here?
I think that emergency response is something that's always been tied with health departments, and being able to do more with less. We don't have a lot of resources in public health. Unfortunately, monetary resources are scarce, and in a lot of contention for those dollars. And so we're constantly tasked with trying to come up with innovative solutions and thinking outside the box and being handed a problem and just being able to solve it. And so that lends well to change like that and going into a new environment and very quickly getting the lay of the land and figuring out what needs to be done and what the priority order is, and then doing it, making a plan and accomplishing that.
And you hit on a very key point, is that usually a department like the public health or the Board of Health is an area that you would think would be maybe overfunded. You should have, you should be able to expend as much money as needed. And yet and still in many towns, even Linden, we're no exception, the funding for that particular department is not what it should be. And I guess I have to give you credit for doing a good job, given the limited resources that you had, especially during this pandemic, for being able to rise to the occasion and do an outstanding job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it is something that really should be addressed. I think on average for the state of New Jersey, we spend every year roughly about $31 per person in the state on public health. And, as the saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And that's what we're about in public health, is prevention and trying to head problems off before they occur, and not just respond to them. And that's why one of the things that we're advocating for now in public health is reinstating public health priority funding. There was a Public Health Priority Funding Act of 1977, and that provided about 15% of the funding that a health department requires. It was about $10 million a year that was distributed to local health departments. And in 2011, the state legislature voted to cancel that. And we have not had annual public health priority funding since. And we're trying to get that reinstated now. It's very difficult to operate without the funding that you need, and especially in public health, where you're trying to be prepared for lots of different eventualities.
Now, you've taken advantage of some grants that were provided by the state and federal government. Could you tell us a little about that? Certainly.
There's multiple grants that we've applied for and been awarded through the New Jersey Department of Health, the Strengthening Public Health, Strengthening Local Public Health Capacity, vaccine supplemental funding, and the newest one now is Enhancing Local Public Health Infrastructure. And we've been able to be awarded funding, significant funding through that. And that's helped us immensely, but the problem with grant funding is it's not sustainable, and we never know from year to year if it's going to be continued. So if we hire people based on grant funding, if that grant funding goes away, we no longer can fund that position.
Right.
So it really makes it difficult. You don't want to cut people who are doing a good job for you, but when their salary depends on a grant, it makes it difficult. And you never know from year to year if you're going to be able to get that funding again or in the same amount, and it really makes it difficult to plan. We have a 3 to 5 year strategic plan that we follow. So having every year that uncertainty of what kind of funding that we're going to have, it really makes it difficult to plan ahead.
Well, let me say this as the mayor. You can rest assured that the money that you're receiving now to run your office and your operation, we shall not pare it back, even if you lose grants. We're going to try to keep you fully staffed so that we can continue to have our people here in Linden as healthy and as safe as they possibly can be under your direction.
Well, I appreciate that, Mayor. I think our outreach team, which is all grant funded, are doing a phenomenal job. Everyone at the health department, I have to say that we really have a great crew, and all the things that we're able to accomplish, it's a team effort, and everyone there works really hard to provide the best services that they can for all of our residents, all of our businesses, all of our visitors to our city. But the outreach team in particular, they're going out to community events, they're interacting with our public, they're distributing information, they're distributing hand sanitizer and Lysol wipes and free COVID tests, and really building a rapport with the city so that when we are distributing information to people, it's not some bureaucrat from far off that nobody knows. It's people that you do know that are in our community and people who live here in our community.
They seem to enjoy what they do as well. I've seen them in a number of events, and they seem very, very excited and happy to be out there.
They are
working for us.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
So what are some of the programs and services that you offer?
Well, the health department offers a wide range of services and programs, some of which include the Child Health Clinic, which we hold for children 0 to 18 that are either uninsured or underinsured, so that they can have their basic wellness exams and vaccinations that they need, and have developmental checkups for hearing and vision and growth. We also have a blood pressure and blood sugar screening that we hold each month here at the JTG, where our nurses come and they take blood pressure and blood sugar readings, and they give nutritional information out, and our outreach team is here for that as well. In the fall last year, we had our first annual health fair, which was a great success. We had over 40 organizations that provided all different types of services, in addition to health services that were offered. And we're going to do that again this year, October 14th, on Saturday at School 1. So we're really looking forward to that. We're going to have a pet wellness clinic where a mobile unit comes and people can make appointments to have their pets spayed, neutered, and basic care for them. So we really offer a lot to the community. In addition to that, our inspectors going out and educating all the businesses that they inspect, our nurses going out and providing educational programs. Just recently for our recreation department, they put on a recreational department educational program for the camp counselors that were coming in. So they had basic information on ticks and first aid and heat-related illness and things of that nature. So we really do provide quite a bit, and we're always looking to expand that.
Very good, very good. I'm impressed.
Thank you. It's a lot, and it takes everybody working together to get it all done. But one of the things we have to do in local public health is we have a continuous quality improvement plan. We can't just rest on our laurels. We have to at least one project per year where we take something that we want to improve, and it has to be something measurable. So this year's project, we wanted to increase the number of dogs and cats that we vaccinated at our rabies clinic. And we set a goal of increasing that number by 5%. By advertising it widely and early and often, and by providing a clinic for the first time on a Saturday and also expanding the evening hours until later, we were able to increase the number of dogs and cats vaccinated by 15%. So we achieved that and then some. So now we're setting our eyes on other targets, and it's just continual improvement and what can we make better, what can we improve, what additional services can we offer, what is it that our community needs and that we can provide to try to have the healthiest Linden possible.
Yeah. And that being said, I got to bring I got 2 cats at home. I got to bring them down and get them vaccinated. They're home, they're house cats, but we let them out a lot, so you never know what they're going to run into out there.
Sure. And I think one thing that's interesting that a lot of people don't know about licensing of dogs, the whole point of our licensing program, and we really encourage everyone to license their dogs. It's required by law, it's really necessary. But the whole reason that they instituted licensing requirements is to have people vaccinate their dogs against rabies. Mm-hmm. And this is why rabies in dogs is so rare, because you can't get the license without getting your rabies shot and having it be good for at least 10 months of the licensing year. And licensing is mandatory in almost every municipality in the state of New Jersey. And a part of that licensing fee goes back to the state, and that's how you have your free rabies vaccination clinics. And it really comes into play, especially if there's an unfortunate incident where you have a dog that bites a person. If that dog is licensed and vaccinated against rabies and that it's current and valid, it's just a 10-day home quarantine period. We go and check at the end of the 10 days to make sure that the dog is in good health, release it from quarantine, and that's it. Mm-hmm. If the dog's not vaccinated, it gets more complicated, and maybe the quarantine period has to be longer than that, or other actions have to be taken. So vaccination and licensing among dogs is very, very important.
So Aimee, if the public has any concerns or questions, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can call the Board of Health offices at 908-474-8409, or they can email health@linden-nj.gov. That's a general inbox that's monitored by several people every day.
Well, Aimee, thank you for coming, and again, thank you for the services that you provide here in our city.
Thank you for having me. It was wonderful.
Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and remember, this show is your source for everything you want to know in the city of Linden.